Guys, what's up? My name's Zwordz, and today I'm going to teach you how to rank up from gold to platinum all by yourself. After making my Diamond to Master solo video, a lot of you reached out to me and wanted to know if I could make a solo guide for players in gold. So that's what this video is going to be about. I realized that a majority of ranked players across all platforms are actually in gold. So if you're stuck here, it's all good. Happens to most players. But don't worry, I got you. Just watch this video to the end and you'll find the grind to platinum to be a little bit more easier. And before I forget, please like and subscribe if you want to bring your gameplay to the next level for Apex Legends. These next few months are going to be packed full of helpful content, all to help the community improve. It only takes a second, it's free, and if you change your mind, you can always unsubscribe later. Also check out my Discord. You can find teammates here, talk about Apex Legends, hang out with positive and supportive players, or just find your Apex memes. Now on to the video. I understand that grinding through gold can be a drag sometimes. Maybe it feels like you're doing everything on your own, or maybe you're dying too early. Perhaps maybe you're struggling with working together with your team, or dealing with toxicity. We're going to talk about all of these things, but first, let's talk about your overall playstyle and mindset in gold. Most people are going to approach each match kind of like a slightly more intense pubs game. You need to be different than these players, be a little bit more patient, and play cautiously. You want to be in a good position for most gunfights so you can hold your ground. When I made it back to gold, I noticed that players tend to put themselves in pretty bad positioning. You should be playing on this and punishing players for being in a bad spot. This is why having a good accuracy with most weapons is going to make a heck of a difference. In this tier, you should be getting those points early game. Winning those gunfights is going to be very important for you, so you shouldn't be losing fights in the early game. You need to have the advantage here. For my aggressive players, good news for you. You can be aggressive early game, but please don't be overly aggressive. You need to utilize cover, take a good position, and have good weapon accuracy. These are going to be the three elements that are going to get you out of gold and into platinum. As I've said in my other ranked videos, don't drop hot. A majority of players are going to drop almost immediately out of the dropship. The simple truth is most of these players are going to die super early because they can't find a gun, have bad weapons, and they got bad loot. Or maybe they just didn't land in a good place. Just be a little patient and land somewhere far and safe. Trust me on this. Most players in gold typically don't land far and safe, but landing somewhere far and without squads landing on you basically omits you from the potential of getting squad wiped in the very beginning. Being able to get good loot safely with weapons you like is a lot better than running around trying to find a weapon. You don't want to just be surviving a contesting team. Though I do get that sometimes people are going to land with you without you knowing. In those situations, it's just better to run away. Find somewhere close by that has loot and loot up there instead. You're going to minimize the risk to dying early a lot and save yourself RP. Let's talk about stretching. Not actually stretching like stretching your muscles. No. I mean like stretching when you're choosing a place to land. Now, I'm sure you see a lot of teams landing at these far places, but maybe you don't actually know how it's done. So if you didn't know before, there's actually a speedometer on the left side of your screen when you're like skydiving through the sky. You're gonna see a number here. This number you're typically gonna want to keep above, above 135. You can also hold your aim button to enable free look so you can look around for other teams. This is pretty useful when picking a place to land. That way, if you know a team is landing with you could always change your mind and land somewhere else. But typically, the way to stretch is you need to dive like a dolphin and then go straight. Dive like a dolphin and then go straight. Pay attention to your number in the speedometer so you make sure you're getting enough speed so you can actually get far enough. And this is very important. Also, utilize your pings. I don't see this enough as I would like, but you should definitely be utilizing your pings. The ping system is one of the greatest things that Apex has actually implemented into their game. You can ping attachments, useful guns, body shields, or if you hold down your ping button, you can open up the ping wheel and say, hey, you're going over here, you're defending this position, you're looting over here, or maybe you're watching this spot, you think enemies are going to third party you. This information is so important when you're solo queuing because you can communicate with your teammates and provide information, and in turn, they might actually do the same. If you can communicate with your randoms using the ping system, you're going to have a lot easier time climbing up to platinum. Start warming up your aim before your ranked matches. Seriously, just go to the firing range, pick up your favorite weapon, and shoot at these moving targets from these higher vantage points up in the back. Don't worry about shooting the dummies on the ground. Seriously, it's not going to help you. What's really going to help you is shooting these moving targets. For both my controller and mouse and keyboard players, shooting these moving targets is better for you because you'll get better at one-clipping people and preparing your muscle memory for similar situations when players are running in a single direction. During your ranked games, you're going to see a lot of players just running around, running in a straight line without noticing you. And during these moments, this practice activity is going to help you a lot. Really though, actually do this. A lot of people don't go to the firing range and they just kind of jump straight into ranked. But if you do this for 5 to 10 minutes before your ranked games, it's going to help your accuracy a lot. Aggressive play works. Playing aggressive in gold is probably the best way to climb out of it and into platinum. It's also the fastest. The problem is a lot of gold players play too aggressive, and too aggressive is not a good thing. Being aggressive doesn't mean always getting into someone's face. Aggressive play is really just forcing your opponent into an uncomfortable position. That way, they have less options to counter you due to pressure and suppression. For example, let's say you're a sniper player. You won't ever see an aggressive sniper in your face. Instead, you're going to see an aggressive sniper in a good vantage point taking shots at you whenever you're out of position. Whereas an aggressive player using an assault rifle or SMG is probably going to always try to keep you in their optimal range while maintaining a good position. Remember, don't overextend and be too aggressive because that's going to put you in a bad situation. If you have a sniper, you don't want to be in someone's face. If you have a wingman, you don't exactly want to be in someone's face either. You kind of want to take these fights at mid-range. You can be aggressive while maintaining your optimal range. That is key. Another thing is that you really need to use cover. I noticed that a lot of gold players tend to not use cover to its full potential, taking fights while leaving themselves open to getting shot from multiple angles. The only time you should be vulnerable and out in the open is when you're pushing an enemy at low HP. Otherwise, you should be mostly taking your fights with some cover to hide behind incoming fire. Cover is everywhere. Use rocks, bins, buildings, or even hugging a wall could be cover. You're going to notice this in this tier. Players just run out in the open right at you. Maybe some of you haven't noticed this, but a lot of players seem to just rush right at you out in the open. Opportunities like this are key moments where you can get a full clip on someone, potentially knocking them and taking them out of the fight. And if enemy players are doing this, your teammates are doing it too, which is why as a solo player, you want to suppress the enemy. When your teammates are rushing targets, you can actually suppress their targets, covering them and helping them get an advantage on them. This is called suppression. Suppressive fire doesn't always mean that you have to hit your target. Just fire at the enemy's position. As your teammate's moving up, and you'll prevent your enemy from peeking while your teammate moves up. Not only does this help keep your teammate a little safer, but they might actually get the job done. You're also going to want to disengage from long fights. If you notice the fight has taken a while, I suggest you get out and leave. Players in prolonged fights tend to get tunneled in that fight and forget that they're attracting a lot of noise to the location. Ever hear how players get third partied, fourth partied, or fifth partied? This is why. Players in gold are practically running to wherever the fighting's happening. So if you're making the most noise, you bet they're coming. Keep this in mind, because if a fight's taking too long, you should probably dip out, because people are on the way. Don't forget about the ring. I noticed a lot of players tend to forget about making it to the zone early. Just to make sure you all know, please stop fighting in the storm and getting caught out there. You're reducing your health resources and you're putting yourself at risk of getting gatekeeped of a squad waiting for you inside the ring. The best thing you can do is rotate early and stay out of those storm fights. Don't risk your RP. Instead, if you get to the zone early, then you can watch. You can watch and wait for people that are still in the storm fighting, still in the storm, trying to make it into the ring, and you can just take them out instead. This is easy RP, very, very easy RP. Don't be that squad going into the storm. Just don't put your RP at risk. So who should you play? Well, honestly, almost anyone works in gold. You're not going to see over-dominating team comps in this tier, so you shouldn't worry about that. Bloodhound is probably the best legend for solo queuing through gold right now. If your teammates knock scanned enemies within 10 or 15 seconds, then you still get the assist for that kill. So it works out pretty well. And if you haven't checked out my Master's Bloodhound rank guide, that video seems to be helping a lot of you Bloodhound mains, so you don't want to miss this one. Bloodhound is a really good legend climbing early in gold because the scan is just so helpful. You can do many callouts with Bloodhound's ultimate ability. Bloodhound is just a pretty good legend for solo queuing right now, so don't miss out on that. There are other legends that you can use though. You don't have to use Bloodhound, but honestly, you can use pretty much anyone. Just play your favorite legend and you can get out of gold. Another thing is dealing with toxic teammates. The way to deal with them is to not deal with them. And I've talked about this in my other video, but toxic players, you should know that there is never a situation where you should accept toxicity. It's just simply unacceptable. If you have a teammate that is playing toxically, abusing the TTS system, or maybe they're just being meanie, like just mute them, disable voice chat. You don't need to deal with that. What I do, I have game chat permanently disabled. I don't deal with toxicity. Toxicity messes up my gameplay, it gives me anxiety, and I'm just not about that. The ranked is so much more better in a good space because that gives you a good mindset. So for me, permanently disabling voice chat as a solo player, I don't get any toxicity, never, not at all. Plus, I don't get messages from toxic players either. So, it all works out pretty well. And it is so much better. It helps me a lot. But if you are that player that likes communications, that likes comms, then I would just say the moment your teammate starts being toxic, toxic pings or toxic communication, just mute them. You know, you can do that by going to squad and you can mute them. So that's what I suggest. When you eventually make it to the end in the later final rings, what you want to do is you want to hold the position of power. What I mean by that is basically by getting into the zone early and having an advantageous position over enemy teams. In the final rings, they're not going to be as intense as it would be in platinum or diamond, so these final rings should be a little bit easier on you. Really, just be in that position of power early before other teams are and fire at them from that position. Then they should pretty much come to you, or you should be able to get a good amount of damage on them, and the fight should just take it over from there. Also, you can make it to plat. I know some of you that are having problems getting through gold are struggling, but seriously, you can do it. You can seriously do it. Follow these tips and I'm telling you, you're going to make it far. Really, you just want to get these points early game and stick it out and see how far you can get later in the zone. If you can make it to one of the end zones, perfect. But really, just getting kill points alone should be enough to help you climb out of gold and into platinum, which once you do reach platinum, I'll have another guide for you then on your journey to diamond. Platinum's a pretty good place where you can improve and you're going to learn a lot about the game. So it's definitely a nice place to reach. And I believe in you. You can totally do it. Kick some butt. Also, I stream on Twitch. I actually have a pretty good time with you guys during my live streams. Y'all are some funny people, let me tell you. Come hang out. We got good vibes, cool people, and I talk to y'all. I really want to do it full time, but I just can't right now. But with enough support, maybe I can one day. So I'd appreciate any support at all. And that's pretty much it. I hope these tips help. I genuinely hope these tips help. I want you guys to reach your goals. Let me know how your journey to plat goes in the comments below. Take it easy, friends, and peace out.